Hello and welcome to Daily News Simplified, an answer to what, why and how of newspaper reading from UPSC Civil Services examination perspective. Today we'll be taking up the New Delhi edition of the Hindu newspaper dated 17 December 2022. Now today we have two announcements for you. The first announcement is regarding the prelims test series. Now there are only 162 days left for the upcoming prelims examination. So subscribe to Raus IAS prelims test series to increase your chances to appear in the mains examination. And the second announcement is that we at Raus IAS have started the test series for the PSIR optional for mains 2023. So the PSIR optional test series will help you in revising, testing, and also it will provide you qualitative feedback. So subscribe to the prelims test series and also the PSIR optional test series. And the information pertaining to both these have been provided in the YouTube description. Now let's take up this news appearing on page number 5. And this news highlights that 5 agricultural products of Kerala received GI tag or the geographical indication tag. And these 5 products are a kind of beans, red gram, sesame, garlic and snap melon. Now geographical indications are generally provided to such products which have specific geographical origin and possess qualities or reputation which are due to that origin. So basically these 5 agricultural products have their specific qualities because of the climatic or agricultural conditions specific in the state of Kerala. So it highlights that agroclimatic conditions of the geographical area of their productions are the basis for getting the geographical indication tag. Now we have already discussed in detail about the GI tag in our previous discussion when we discussed about the Andaman Hodi. So in this discussion, let's understand some of the important qualities of these 5 agricultural products which will be receiving the GI tag. Now let us quickly revise about geographical indication, and the first and foremost point is that it is provided to a product which has a specific geographical origin. So a geographical origin is important which possesses those qualities or reputation which are from that origin. So these 5 agricultural products have those qualities which are found only in Kerala. It further says that in order to function as a GI, a sign must identify product as originating in a given place. In addition, the qualities, characteristics or reputation of the product should be essentially due to the. So again, the aspect of place of origin for receiving a GI tag is important. It further says that since the qualities depend on geographical place of production, there is a clear link between the product and its original place of production. So the original place of production is also very important with respect to receiving a GI tag. And geographical indications are typically used for agricultural products such as foodstuffs, wine, spirit drinks, handicrafts and industrial products which can be linked to their place of origin. Now after this revision about geographical indication tag, let's go through some of the important features or special features of these 5 agricultural products receiving the GI tag. So about this particular beans, it is grown in the Attapati region of Kerala, which is its speciality of origin. It has higher anthocyanin content. Now anthocyanin content in fruits and vegetables provides different colors of red, blue or even purple. So it says it has higher anthocyanin content compared to other beans. So this becomes a speciality. And this produces a violet color in the stem and fruits. Now anthocyanins are colored water soluble pigments belonging to the phenolic group. Anthocyanin leads to red, blue or purple color in fruits and vegetables. The beans also have high contents of calcium, protein and fiber. And the higher phenol content of Attapadi or Tonkovu avara provides resistance to disease and also pest and making the crop suitable for organic cultivation. So these are some of the specialities of Attapadi avara beans. Now coming to the red gram, that is Attapadi thuara. Now these seeds have white coat and compared to other grams, the seeds of the Attapadi thuara grams are larger and have higher seed weights. So this becomes another speciality of the Attapadi thuara grams. Further, it is rich in protein, carbohydrates, fiber, calcium and magnesium. Now coming to the sesame, that is Onattukara elu. Its oil are known for its unique health benefits. And it has relatively higher antioxidant content. Now higher antioxidant content helps to kill the free radicals in the body. So it says that it helps to fight the free radicals which destroy the body cells. Now it's important to understand about free radicals and also about the antioxidants. So it highlights that free radicals are highly reactive and unstable molecules that are made by the body naturally as a byproduct of normal metabolism. Now the sesame also has a high content of unsaturated fat, which makes it beneficial for the heart patients. Now unsaturated fats are generally liquid at room temperature. So these are some of the specialities of the sesame or Onattukara elu. Now here we also need to understand about free radicals and also about saturated and unsaturated fat. Now general understanding about free radical is that excess of free radicals in the body creates oxidative stress and it can damage the DNA, it can lead to various diseases, and it can also lead to cardiovascular diseases, which can even lead to death. So this is the gist with respect to free radicals. Now we also need to understand about free radicals from the perspective of its chemical structure. Now before that, let's look into this particular question asked by UPSC way back in the prelims of 2011. The question here was very simple. It stated that regular intake of fresh fruits and vegetables is recommended in the diet since they are a good source of antioxidants. How do antioxidants help a person maintain health and promote longevity? They activate the enzymes necessary for vitamin synthesis in the body and help prevent vitamin deficiency. B. They prevent excessive oxidation of carbohydrates, fats and proteins in the body and helps to avoid unnecessary wastage of energy. C. They neutralize the free radicals produced in the body during metabolism. And D. They activate certain genes in the cells of the body and help delay the aging process. So when we understand about free radical and the importance of antioxidants, we need to understand about the aspect of oxidative stress. So it says that when oxygen molecules split into single atoms that have unpaired electrons, they become unstable free radicals, and these unstable free radicals are absorbed by other atoms or molecules. So when these free radicals becomes unstable, they seek other atoms or molecules to bond to. And if this continues to happen, it begins a process called oxidative stress. So oxidative stress basically means increase in the numbers of free radical in the body. And this can damage the body cells, leading to a range of diseases and causes symptoms of aging such as wrinkles. Now free radicals are produced in the body for a very short period of time, even for a fraction of a second. But in that process, it can damage the DNA sequence, and more number of free radicals in the body can lead to various diseases including cancer and also heart diseases. Now antioxidants on the other hand helps to fight these free radicals and also reduce oxidative stress in the body. And these antioxidants are found in vegetables and fruits, and even several vitamins such as vitamin E and C are effective antioxidants. And that's why it is often said that one should consume green vegetables and fruits as it has abundant antioxidants which helps to kill the free radicals in the body. And these free radicals are a byproduct of normal metabolism which takes place in our body. So how do antioxidants help a person maintain health and promote longevity? They neutralize the free radicals produced in the body during metabolism. So the correct answer to this question is C. Now after understanding about free radicals, let's also understand about saturated and unsaturated fatty acid. Again, the difference lies in their structural format or in their chemical structure. Now a very basic understanding is that saturated fatty acid is generally found in the solid state, whereas unsaturated fatty acids are found generally in the liquid state. Now talking about the difference between saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid, the difference lies basically in their chemical bonding. As you can see in this particular structure, there is no double bond. But if you look at this particular unsaturated fatty acid, then there is a double bond between two carbon atoms. Now unsaturated fatty acids are again of two types. One is monounsaturated fatty acid and the second is polyunsaturated fatty acid. Again, the difference is in their chemical structure. In a monounsaturated fatty acid, there is one single double bond between two carbon atoms. And in a polyunsaturated fatty acid, there are two double bonds between carbon atoms. So talking specifically in terms of their chemical structure, this is the basic difference. Now let's go through the other aspects as well. So it says that saturated fats have single bonds between their molecules and are saturated with hydrogen molecules. They tend to be solid at room temperature, whereas the unsaturated fatty acids are liquid at room temperature. So these unsaturated fatty acids contain one or more double or triple bonds between the molecules. These fats are liquid at room temperature in oil form, and they also occur in solid foods. Now there are two types of unsaturated fatty acids or unsaturated fats. One is monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats. And the basic difference is with respect to the double bond of carbon atom. And the difference, as we have already discussed, is the presence of a single double bond between carbon atoms in monounsaturated fatty acid and two double bonds of carbon atoms in polyunsaturated fatty acids. Another important aspect is that the body by itself does not produce polyunsaturated fats and needs to be obtained from different foods which we eat. And these foods are nuts, fish, different types of oils, etc. Now there are two main types of polyunsaturated fats. So these polyunsaturated fatty acids are of two categories or two types. One is omega-3 fatty acid and one is omega-6 fatty acids. And both the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are important for the body for proper brain functioning and also cell growth. So these are some of the important highlights with respect to saturated and unsaturated fats. So with respect to the sesame, it highlights that its high content of unsaturated fat makes it beneficial for the heart patients, and unsaturated fats are generally liquid at room temperature. Now coming to the different kind of garlic grown in Kerala. So this garlic from Kanthalore Vattavara area in Idukki contains more sulfites, flavonoids and proteins. Further, it is also rich in allicin. Now this is effective against microbial infections, blood sugar, cancer, cholesterol, heart disease and damage to blood cells. Now, an important reason is that allicin is a compound which helps to reduce inflammation and blocks free radicals in the body. So again, the importance of these agricultural products is also with respect to the health benefits which they provide. And it says that the compound, that is allicin, is one of the main active components of garlic, what gives it its distinct taste and scent or smell. And the garlic grown in this area is also rich in essential oils. So again, this is the speciality of the garlic grown in the Kerala region. Now coming to the snap melon, it is grown in Kodungalur and parts of Ernakulam and is consumed as juice and in other forms. Very famous during summer, and it is an excellent thirst quencher, and it is very high in vitamin C and also contains nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, fiber and fat. So these are the specialities of these 5 agricultural products receiving GI tag from Kerala. Thus this topic becomes important mainly from the perspective of your prelims examination from the section of general science or science and technology. The next news to be taken up appears on page number 8. And this news highlights that the Lok Sabha has cleared a bill to add Himachal Pradesh Hattee community in the scheduled tribes list. Now, the minister highlighted that the Hattee community has already been categorized as scheduled tribe in the neighboring state of Uttarakhand. And based on this, the community was demanding scheduled tribe status in the state of Himachal Pradesh. So, the Lok Sabha has passed the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order 3rd Amendment Bill 2022 to include the Hattee community in the Transgiri region in Sirmaur district in Himachal Pradesh. And this particular amendment bill of 2022 basically amends the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950. So the purpose of this particular amendment bill of 2022 states that this bill, that is the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order 3rd Amendment Bill 2022, further amends the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950 to provide for the inclusion of certain communities in the list of scheduled tribes in relation to state of Himachal Pradesh. And the community mentioned is the Hattee community of Transgiri area of Sirmaur district of Himachal Pradesh. Now this topic basically becomes important from your prelims perspective as you need to know about these important highlights with respect to adding any community or removing the name of any community from the list of scheduled tribes. So it highlights that scheduled tribes have been defined under Article 366 Clause 25 of the Indian Constitution. and the definition states that scheduled tribe means such tribes or tribal communities or parts of or groups within such tribes or tribal communities as are deemed under Article 342 to be scheduled tribes for the purpose of this constitution. Hence, the mechanism to declare any community or part of a tribal community as scheduled tribe has been provided under Article 342 of the Indian Constitution. Now, two things are important here, basically from your prelims perspective. Now, this is a part of statement of object and reason for this particular amendment bill. That is the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order 3rd Amendment Bill of 2022. The important part is that the state government of Himachal Pradesh had also provided their recommendations. So it states that on the basis of recommendation of the state government of Himachal Pradesh, it is proposed, that is the central government has proposed to modify the list of scheduled tribes in respect of state of Himachal Pradesh by amending the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950. So basically this Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950 is a list of documents containing list of scheduled tribes of different states. Say state of Assam, state of Gujarat, state of Himachal Pradesh, state of Uttarakhand, etc. So under the category of each state, the name of its tribal communities who have been categorized as scheduled tribes have been provided under this particular order. So to ensure that a new community has been categorized as scheduled tribe, the name of that community must be added to this particular scheduled order of 1950. So now what the government intends to do is to add the name of Hattee community into the scheduled tribes order of 1950 under the section of Himachal Pradesh. So it states that the Constitution Scheduled Tribes 3rd Amendment Bill 2022 proposes to amend Part 5 relating to Himachal Pradesh. So as you can see, this is Part 5 relating to Himachal Pradesh and it contains list of communities who has been categorized or added as scheduled tribe. Now so far there are 10 entries under which different communities has been categorized as scheduled tribes. So it highlights that this 2022 amendment bill with respect to the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order intends or proposes to amend Part 5 of Himachal Pradesh of the Schedule to the Constitution of India Scheduled Tribes Order to add or insert Hattee tribe of Transgiri area of Sirmaur district in the list of scheduled tribes after entry 10. So after this particular entry, having the communities of Domba, Gara and Zoba, 11th community will be added, namely that of Hattee community under the section of Himachal Pradesh categorized as scheduled tribes. So this is the process which is being followed. And here you also need to know about the importance of Article 342 of the Indian Constitution. Now talking about scheduled tribes, you also must know that what are the criteria based on which any community is considered as scheduled tribe. So it says that framers of the Indian Constitution realized that certain communities in the countries were suffering from extreme social, educational and economic backwardness on accounts of three important aspects: primitive agricultural practices, lack of infrastructure facilities and geographical isolation. And based on this understanding of their primitiveness, certain relaxation or benefits were provided to them under Article 15 Clause 4 and 16 Clause 4 with respect to education and public services. Now regarding the constitutional provisions, Article 366 Clause 25 defines scheduled tribes as such tribes or tribal communities as are deemed under Article 342 of the Indian Constitution to be categorized as scheduled tribes. And Article 342 has been categorized as Clause 1 and Article 342 Clause 2. Now under Article 342 Clause 1, presidential order is issued. So it says that President may, with respect to any state or union territory, and where it is a state, after consultation with the governor thereof. So consultation or opinion of the state government is also taken. And by a public notification, this presidential order will specify the tribes or tribal communities or part or groups within tribes or tribal communities as scheduled tribe. Now, second provision with respect to Article 342 empowers the Parliament to make a law in this behalf. And it is because of this, the Parliament has passed the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order 3rd Amendment Bill of 2022. And this amendment provides for adding a new community in the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950, and this order will be issued by the President of India. So Article 342 Clause 2 says that Parliament may by law include or exclude. So both inclusion and exclusion of members from the list of scheduled tribes takes place under Article 342 by Parliament by law. So it says that Parliament may by law include or exclude from the list of scheduled tribes any tribe or tribal community or part or group within the tribe or tribal community. Now, the criteria to designate any community as scheduled tribe has not been provided in the Constitution of India. So please remember this particular aspect. So it states that while the Constitution is silent about the criteria for specification of a community as scheduled tribe, and these phrases that tribes or tribal communities or part of groups within tribes or tribal communities who can be categorized as scheduled tribes needs to be understood in terms of their historical background of backwardness. So based on this, it highlights that the criteria presently followed by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs for specification of a community as scheduled tribes are indication of primitive traits, distinctive culture, geographical isolation, shyness of contact with community at large, and also their backwardness. Now this backwardness can be educational backwardness, economic backwardness, or even social backwardness. And these primitive traits and shyness from other communities separate these communities from other communities of the country. And based on these criteria, the government enlists any community as scheduled tribe. Another important aspect is that the government also takes into account the definitions of tribal communities which was adopted in the 1931 census. And all these aspects were highlighted there. Now, from your prelims perspective, another very important aspect is that there is a possibility that the name of the community has been categorized as scheduled tribe in one state, but the same community has not been categorized as scheduled tribe in another state, which is the case of Hattee community of Himachal Pradesh. So it states that there is a possibility that the list of scheduled tribes is state or UT specific, that is Union Territory specific, and a community declared as scheduled tribe in a state need not be so in another state. So if a community has been declared or categorized as scheduled tribe, say in Himachal Pradesh, then it's possible that same community has not been categorized as scheduled tribe in the neighboring states, say Uttarakhand or even Uttar Pradesh or other states. And the presidential notifications under clause 1 of article 342 of the Constitution of India are issued as constitution orders. So if you look at the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order of 1950, it states that in exercise of powers conferred by clause 1 of article 342 of the Constitution of India, the President, after consultation with the governors of states concerned, is pleased to make the following orders. So basically after consultation with the governor, which also means consultation with the specific state government also. Thus this news with respect to inclusion of Hattee community of Himachal Pradesh into the scheduled tribe list mainly becomes important from your prelims perspective. However, questions can also be framed in your mains examination under GS paper 2, particularly with respect to the process, that is the procedure of enlisting a community within the scheduled tribes order of 1950, and also the criteria based on which any community is categorized as scheduled tribe. And please remember that these categories have not been provided in the Constitution of India. Now let's take up the next news on windfall tax appearing on page number 12, and the news highlights that the government has decided to cut windfall tax on crude oil output. Now here in this news we need to understand about windfall tax. Now to understand windfall tax, we must understand the concept of windfall gain, that is sudden gain made by any company or any seller of a particular product. So windfall gain means sudden profit due to global or other scenario. Basically, the price of any product suddenly increases, and this increase in price is not because of increase in demand or increase in production of that product, but it is because of either global scenarios or other situations. And in this case, what we witnessed was increase in price of crude oil in the international market, especially due to the Russia-Ukraine crisis. So since the companies have made these windfall gain or greater gain in a very short period of time, hence the government intends to tax these higher profits of the companies. So in this regard, we need to understand the fluctuation of price of crude oil in the international market, particularly from February 2022 till say July or August 2022 and thereafter. So the price of crude oil in the international market in February 2022 was approx $97 per barrel. And suddenly in March 2022, because of increasing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the price of crude oil suddenly rose to $117.25 per barrel. And then the price further fluctuated, and in June it further increased to $122 per barrel or $122.71 per barrel. Now let's understand how this impacts the crude oil importer. Now we all know that India is one of the largest crude oil importers of the world. Now the domestic companies import the crude oil, they refine the crude oil and sell in the domestic market. Now let's understand this concept of windfall gain and also the government levying a windfall tax through an example. Now suppose earlier, prior to the Russia-Ukraine crisis, the price of crude oil in the international market was $80 per barrel. And suddenly it rose to close to about $120 per barrel. So the companies who were refining this crude oil and selling in the domestic market, they suddenly started enjoying higher profit margin without any increase in supply of refined crude oil in the market. So in order to tax this sudden increase in profit, the government introduced the concept of windfall tax. And because of this fluctuation of price of crude oil in the international market, and because of this fluctuation, the domestic companies enjoying higher profit margins, the government first imposed the windfall tax in July 2022 due to rising crude oil price in the market. As the price of crude oil in the international market increased from $113.34 to $122.71. Now another reason for the government to impose windfall tax is that since the companies have started enjoying higher profits, this higher profits leads to rise in imports of crude oil. Now rise in imports of crude oil further increases the trade deficit, as this sees sudden increase in import as compared to exports, also because of the global situation caused due to Russia-Ukraine crisis. Further, depreciating rupee further added additional pressure on the government. That's why the government decided to impose windfall tax from July due to rising crude oil prices. And if you see this particular graph, then the price of crude increased in March and then in June 2022. And according to this particular graph, with respect to the price of crude oil in the international market, the price rose from $74.17 per barrel in approx December 2021 to $117.25 per barrel in the international market in March 2022. So this was a sudden jump, and this led to windfall gain for those companies importing crude oil, as they were also selling them in the domestic market. Now after July 2022 and particularly after August, the price of the Brent crude oil in the international market started declining or started reducing. And because of this, the government has also reduced the windfall tax, as because of declining prices of crude oil in the international market, the profit margins of the companies have also reduced. So this news highlights that the center has slashed the windfall profit tax levied on domestically produced crude oil as well as on export of diesel and aviation turbine fuel due to decline in global oil prices. And the tax on crude oil produced by local firms has been reduced from existing rupees 4900 per ton to mere rupees 1700 per ton. So this is a major slash in windfall tax by the central government. Whereas the windfall tax on ATF, that is aviation turbine fuel, has been reduced from rupees 5 per litre to rupees 1.5 per litre. So this is also a major reduction in the windfall tax on aviation turbine fuel. And presently the price of crude oil in the international market is trending below $80 per barrel. The news further highlights that the government has also cut the tax on export of diesel to rupees 5 per litre from rupees 8 and on overseas shipment of ATF from rupees 5 to rupees 1.5. Thus, about windfall gain tax, it is also known as by the term windfall profit tax. It is a tax imposed on certain benefits or profits incurred to the seller or producer on the product price or price of the product. In this case, the price of crude oil. Now, when the price of a product increases suddenly in the market, then producers or sellers may earn above normal profit, and tax on this extra profit is called windfall gain tax. Now the question remains as to whether this tax should be imposed or should not be imposed. It should be imposed because the profits are short-term gains without any change in the overall production in the economy and is more like a gain of chance because of certain global situation or other scenarios. Further, these sudden gains should be taxed because there is no change in the production level as no new goods are produced and it is merely a windfall. Taxing such profits also helps the government to raise short-term revenues. It brings recognition of extra income in the market. Such recognition avoids the generation of black money in the market. Taxing such income also brings parity with other sectors, such as capital markets where windfall gains are very obvious. And such a tax may help in controlling the production and consumption of a particular good. Now, coming to the arguments against imposing windfall tax is that such taxation discourages risk-taking aptitude of the producer, who might take risk after the company has made certain profits. So it discourages the companies to take risk when the market is uncertain. Higher profits are already a part of income tax, so it amounts to double taxation. So it highlights that the windfall gain tax would just raise the burden on the producers. Further, the windfall gain tax might encourage tax avoidance on part of producers, and it is arbitrary on the part of the government to impose such a tax. So these are arguments in favor and also against the windfall gain tax imposed by the government on these sudden gains. Now, regarding the slashing of windfall gain tax by the central government, it has also stated that it will review the windfall levy on locally produced crude oil every fortnight. So, it's important to know about windfall gain tax both from your prelims and mains perspective from the section of Indian economy. Now, let's take up this news appearing on page number 12. And this news is regarding branding of Indian cotton as Kasturi cotton. So, this news highlights that the Cotton Textile Export Promotion Council has signed a Memorandum of Understanding, that is MOU, with Cotton Corporation of India with respect to three aspects. These are branding, traceability and certification of Indian cotton under the brand name of Kasturi. And India's premium cotton will be known as Kasturi cotton, and this brand will be exported. And one of the major reasons for signing this MOU with respect to branding, traceability and certification is that India so far, despite growing the best quality of cotton, has been unable to brand its best variety, which has been done by other countries such as Egypt. So it says that despite a very strong presence in the world market or international market for cotton, India has been unable to brand its cotton varieties so far, unlike the United States of America, as it has branded its Pima cotton, and Egypt, which has branded its Giza cotton. So on the same line, MOU has been signed between the Cotton Textile Export Promotion Council, that is the Texprocil, and the Cotton Corporation of India. And according to the Government of India, this Kasturi brand of cotton will represent whiteness, brightness, softness, purity, lustre, uniqueness and also Indianness. Now, from our examination perspective, we need to understand this mechanism involving three steps, that is traceability, certification and also the aspects of branding. So it says that MOU signed between the Cotton Corporation of India and Texprocil will address on the issue of these three aspects with the objective to map the entire cotton value chain in the following aspects. And under this aspect of traceability, it intends to utilize various technologies such as blockchain-based software platform, geotagging and also DNA-based standards to provide end-to-end tracing solutions. That is, the journey of Kasturi cotton can be traced right from the farm to the industry. The next aspect is certification. So it says that it aims to provide registration and transaction certificate using QR code based technology to validate Kasturi cotton at each stage in the supply chain. And the MOU also provides for testing of the brand of Kasturi for the traders. So it says that farmers, traders, skinners or spinners can apply to get the cotton tested for Kasturi branding, and a system will be put in place to ensure that there is no mixing of other cotton in the entire production chain. And the last aspect regarding the MOU is of course the branding aspect, as it will position Kasturi cotton as India's premium cotton in the international market, and this will further improve farmers' incomes. So the aim is to position Kasturi cotton as a reliable quality product both in domestic and also global markets, thereby facilitating premium pricing and providing a unique brand identity, which will also help to enhance or increase the export opportunities for such Kasturi brand of cotton. So this collaboration between CCI, that is Cotton Corporation of India, and Texprocil will ultimately benefit the farmers who will get the actual value of their produce due to brand building and quality assurance. Now, from our examination perspective, we should also know about Texprocil or Cotton Textiles Export Promotion Council. Now, this was set up after independence in 1954 and it is an autonomous, non-profit body dedicated to promotion of exports. Texprocil has been the international face of cotton textiles from India, facilitating exports worldwide. And Texprocil has a membership of around 3,000 companies spread across major textile clusters in India. And its members are well-established manufacturers and exporters of cotton textile products like cotton, yarns, fabrics and home textile, showcasing multiple products. Now, Texprocil also helps to promote various kinds of cotton such as raw cotton, cotton yarns and blended yarns, cotton and blended, woven and knitted fabrics, home textiles and also technical textiles. Now, regarding the Cotton Corporation of India, it is a central public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Textiles and is engaged in diverse activities related to trade, procurement and export of cotton governed by textile policy of Government of India. And one of its important role is also to undertake price support operations, particularly with respect to minimum support price, whenever the price of cotton falls below the MSP in the market. So undertaking price support operations, especially with respect to the MSP, is one of its key role or key function. And it also helps to fulfill the raw material requirement of the domestic textile industry, particularly during the lean season by undertaking commercial purchase operations. So these are some of the important highlights with respect to Cotton Corporation of India and also Texprocil. Now this topic becomes important particularly from the perspective of your prelims examination under the section of Indian economy, particularly Indian agriculture.